Hi, you guys. I'm just making a video to explain some of your upcoming assignments between now and when I see you again next week. So I think I briefly looked at this with you. This is the Essay1 assignment sheet. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it right now. We can talk more about it next week. But just generally, your purpose for writing in this assignment is to analyze and evaluate. And what you're being asked to do here is to write a 3 to 5 page critical analysis of 2 articles on a scholarly topic. And you have several topics to choose from, which I'll come back to in a minute. And I'll talk about topic selection and then selecting 2 essays on that, 2 articles on that topic in a second. But just back to the general purpose of this assignment. Your purpose here is to analyze and evaluate arguments being presented in a couple of articles written for a scholarly audience. They may themselves not be scholarly articles. They aren't peer-reviewed journal articles, for example, but they are articles that I pulled from the college, one of the college databases, most of them anyway, Gale Opposing Viewpoints. And so they have been produced or selected for an academic audience. And they're trying to make an argument, the articles are, that you're going to be analyzing. So your purpose here is not to make an argument about the topic that you pick. Your purpose is to analyze somebody else's argument about a topic that you will pick. All right, and I'll come back. I'll talk more about this next week, but I just wanted to open this up for you and give you a quick look at it. Okay, so that's item number 1. And then the next thing that you need to do before I see you again next week is this assignment right here. Analyze facts and inferences in an article called Tougher Grading Better for Students that appears in your textbook. All right, and that article appears on these pages here, 129 to 30 in your textbook, Thinking for Yourself. And those pages are also, as you can see, posted right here in this assignment, in the event that students haven't received their textbook yet, their own copy of the textbook. And this assignment description gives lots of instructions for how to go about doing this assignment, which you should follow. You're going to create a chart like this in which you're pulling statements from this article, Tougher Grading Better for Students, from the article, statements that the author of that article has presented as fact. All right, and you're going to put 3 or 4 statements other than this one, which is already given as an example. 3 or 4 statements in this far left column here, which then in the column right next to it, you will decide what the intended inference is of that statement of fact. Because all arguments do that, right? And you know, as people who have written arguments before, in support of your argument, you present facts often that you get from other sources that are intended to support the overall argument you want to make. And the facts that you present are supposed to mean something specific to your reader. In this case, this fact, a national survey released this month showed that a record 28% of incoming college freshmen had A averages, up from only 12.5% in 1969. Well, that's just data, right? That's a fact. Somebody measured this. Somebody, figured this out and determined that there's been an increase in the number of A's that students are receiving from their teachers. Now that's the fact. The inference that the person who wrote this article wants readers to derive from that fact is this one right here, is that what explains that rise in A's is that teachers are grading more easily. They're just handing them out like candy. Okay, now we know that there could be lots of other explanations for this data, this fact. There could be other reasons why the number of A's has gone up, not just that teachers are giving them away. All right, but that is the intended inference. that supports the overall argument that this article is trying to make about the topic. And then in this column, this is where you would put the other information that you as a critical reader would need in order to accept this inference in support of the argument. And then in this final column on the right, this is where you give your overall analysis of that particular point from the text. All right, and this all explains that, all of this that I wrote. And then these are the assignment steps. So you're going to make a chart like this for this assignment, and then you're going to write a paragraph summarizing your analysis. Does the article provide a convincing argument? Why or why not? All right, and so that's that assignment. And then the next assignment that I alluded to a moment ago talking about Essay 1 is this one right here. Oh, and by the way, this assignment right here, Tougher Grading Better for Students, is kind of a practice run for Essay 1. Okay, the process that you go through to analyze Tougher Grading Better for Students is very similar to the process that you're going to use for Essay 1 to analyze arguments in these articles. Okay, but first you need to pick a topic and then pick 2 articles on that topic. And there's the Essay 1 assignment sheet again. But you pick your topic and your articles by going here to the Google site for our course, which I showed you at the beginning of the semester. So there's the link that I just clicked to take you there. And that link takes you right here. And from here, you go up here to home, click on essays, and then click on the down arrow for Essay 1. And that opens up the topics that you can choose from for this particular assignment. You can choose compensation for college athletes, criminal justice reform, doping in sport, gun control, or immigration reform. The argument about how do we fix our broken immigration system. All of these topics are debates that people are having. Okay, so then let's just click on compensation for college athletes as an example. All right, and when you click on that, that takes you to a subpage on which you'll find a bunch of articles that I've posted, okay, which you can then scroll through. All right, so first you pick your topic, and one strategy for picking a topic is to scroll through the articles on that topic to see if that's a topic you want to deal with. And then once you've picked your topic, you scroll through the articles and see which ones you want to use. You have to pick two articles, all right, on the topic that you select. And then those are the 2 articles that you're going to analyze for Essay 1. Okay, now the debate with compensation for college athletes has to do, as you guys probably already know, with whether or not they should be paid more than they get. Because they already get some compensation through scholarships, right? College athletes do, many of them. All right, for the big sports like football and basketball. Okay, recruiters get, you know, talented students to come to their school by giving them a free education. But this argument is about whether or not they should get paid beyond that, whether or not they're entitled to more compensation. And some people would argue, like the author of this article here, okay, college athletes should not be allowed to unionize, right? And why not? Because they'll get together and they'll demand to be paid, right? That's the purpose of a union, is that people who are employees, right, who are categorized as employees get together and they petition as a collective their bosses for certain benefits and more pay. And this article is arguing that college athletes are not employees and therefore should not be allowed to unionize and therefore should not be entitled to more compensation. And then this article is arguing the opposite of that, that in the name of amateurism, college athletes make more money for everyone except themselves. And the implication here is that that's not fair, and therefore college athletes should be entitled to more compensation. All right, it's this classification of college athletes that they're amateurs, they're not professionals, so they are not entitled to compensation. All right, so this is saying that's bad and they should be paid. So you can see that these two articles right on top here disagree with each other. And for whatever topic you pick, you need to pick two articles that are opposing viewpoints, that disagree with each other in the debate. Okay, and there's like between 9 and 10 articles posted on each of these topics. So you should scroll through each of them to see which two you want to work with, which two that take opposing viewpoints on the debate you want to work with. Okay, so that's this assignment right here. Pick two articles. And for this assignment, all you need to do is type in the topic and the titles of the two articles that you picked. And this here explains you've got to pick two that disagree with each other. All right. And then you need to download, either print or download, and then mark up, annotate electronically or physically by hand the two articles that you've chosen on your topic. All right. And we're going to work with those in class next week. So you need to have that done. And then this is another assignment on planning and development. So once you picked your topic and read the articles, the next step in the process is to start to plan. Okay, how you're gonna approach writing an analysis for essay 1 of these two articles. All right, and these are some suggestions for how to start developing and planning your essay. You should make a list of the main points from the articles. Once you've marked them up, once you've annotated them, underlining their important points, and you want to underline what you think are the main points of argument in each of the articles, which points you think the authors think are the most important ones to supporting their arguments. Then you want to start to formulate a working thesis. And working means it's in progress, it's not done. And here's a template you can use if you want, that is a template to use when your purpose is to analyze and evaluate, as your purpose is for this assignment. Okay, this presents an overall analysis and evaluation of the arguments in the articles. This phrase right here, a major weakness, is identified here. And that's what you're doing. You're going to be looking at these articles for their strengths and weaknesses as arguments. And then develop a working plan and draft a paragraph of introduction. Okay, so I'm going to extend the deadline of this, right, to probably the 24th, which is the day we will meet in class. Originally, I wanted you to have it done before, but I think that might be a little too demanding. But I want you to at least think about these things. Take a look at this assignment and think about these things. For example, think about what kind of stuff should go into an introduction, so that when you get into your groups, which is what we're going to do in class next week, you'll have something to talk about. All right? You'll be able to at least discuss your thinking so far about this project. All right, so 3 things. Do Tougher Grading Better for Students, pick a topic and 2 articles, read and annotate those 2 articles, and then think about planning and development for essay 1 so that we can have a productive meeting on the 24th. All right, and as always, if you have any questions for me while you're working through this stuff, please don't hesitate to contact me in the variety of ways that are available to do that. Alrighty, and I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next week.